It's a great and detailed read, and the key part that stands out for me is whether social media companies can continue to claim that they are not publishers when they take this sort of action and remove the President of the United States from their platform. What's your take on that part of the debate?
Well, Wilfred, I've been arguing for 4 years now that there is a fundamental problem. That the legislation of the mid-1990s, particularly Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, is completely anachronistic now that the tech companies, which were fledgling or non-existent then, are the biggest corporations in the world. And we have a situation, and it's been acknowledged by the courts, in which the public sphere or public square is now essentially controlled by a handful of companies that have such great power that they can exclude the President of the United States from the public square. And that can't possibly be healthy for democracy, whatever you think of President Trump's actions in recent weeks. So I think the key point to make here is that we certainly knew there was a problem 4 years ago, but unfortunately legislators did nothing to address this fundamental anomaly, which allows the network platforms, the biggest corporations on the planet in terms of market capitalization, to say, well, actually, we're network platforms if anything bad appears, if content that is harmful appears on our platforms, but we are also publishers when we feel like censoring or excluding content. And this just is a completely unsustainable kind of catch-22, as far as I can see.
And you mentioned it there, and you made the point in the article that despite some of the warning signs, legislators and President Trump failed to act in the past 4 years to prevent the situation that we're in now. Do you expect Biden to fail to act in the next 4 years? Also, I guess there's an added point that lawmakers, those in power, might look at it and say, well, they're actually quite helpful to me while I'm in power, and sort of kick the can down the road a little bit.
Well, I think in some ways the decisions have already been made, even before Joe Biden is sworn in, to pursue big tech through the antitrust channel. That is to say, to take actions against the big tech companies alleging anti-competitive practices. Now, in my view, that is a very, very long blind alley, because it's quite possible that these actions will not, in fact, find against the big tech companies, or will find only against Facebook and force it to part with WhatsApp and Instagram. But that doesn't address the completely different question of whether or not it's right for access to the public square to be controlled by a handful of unaccountable billionaires, all rather annoyingly younger than me, located on the west coast of the United States. So I don't think this is going to be addressed by the Biden administration, especially as you rightly observe, it's in the interests of Democrats if the tendency is for the network platforms to skew to the left and predominantly to restrict conservative or right-wing content. So I think we're just going to waste the next 4 years on antitrust actions, and nothing will really change. And it's dangerous, you know, because even if at the moment the big tech companies lean left and tend to regard right-wing content as offensive, there's no guarantee that will always be their orientation. Back in the 1990s, there were staunch libertarians. You may even remember a time when Twitter was the free speech wing of the Free Speech Party. Well, that seems like a long time ago now, but I think there could be another flip in the future. And one day, those people who are currently cheering on the big tech barons as they decide who has access to the public square may find that they themselves are on the wrong side of the new masters.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.